So we are delighted that you have joined us tonight. I am Margaret Ann Jeffries, the Dean of Engineering and Media Technologies, and tonight Media Technologies is fully represented by program coordinators and faculty. So again, we thank you for being here. We're going to take just a little bit of time for each program to tell you a little bit about itself, to introduce them to you. So before they do that, before we get started, I'd like to go around the room and introduce those of my faculty who are here. And so for my audio production engineering program, APE, I have Misha Goldman, Misha, wave, who is my program coordinator, and Jonathan Manus, who is another faculty member in the APE program. Misha will be giving us a little bit of information about his program here momentarily. The next program in Media Technologies is designed for web and print, and it is represented by the program coordinator, Melissa Dos Santos. Melissa. And then we also have photography, and it is represented by Ron Goodrich, who is not only the discipline chair of Media Technologies, but also the program coordinator of photography, and a faculty member in photography, Kurt Eslick. And then we have video production technology represented by the program coordinator, Katie Lovett. And then as Katie will explain and give another opportunity, we also have a concentration in animation. And so Kent McQuilkin will be speaking about that. And then we will wrap up, not the least of, but the last program, because it starts with a W, is our web technology program, and it is our program coordinator is Dr. Martha Merrill. So we welcome that. And then we will give an opportunity at the end of all of the various programs for Sarah Davis, who is our representative in enrollment services, to give you a little bit of information about enrollment, admissions, and all of the very details about actually becoming a student here at Pellissippi State. So I'm going to hush my mouth. But before I do, I want to draw your attention to the chat box. So if you're unfamiliar with how Zoom works, if you'll look down on the bottom of the screen, in the middle of the screen, there is a little icon that says chat. Everybody is going to put their contact information into that chat box. So as you are listening and you think, wow, I really want to know more about that program, or yes, that is exactly the program that I want to join, take down that contact information and please reach out to those folks for more information. Feel free to reach out to all of them. They all have great programs, and we would love to have you join the Pellissippi State family. So without further ado, we're going to get started tonight, and we're going to turn over the floor now to Audio Production Engineering Technology Program Coordinator, Misha Goldman.
Thank you, Dean Jeffries. Appreciate it. Welcome. And I'm going to go through a presentation here and just kind of go through, give you a sense and the sampler plate of what we do in audio production engineering, and we address it as the APE program. And let's start up here. Ta-da! So basically what we're addressing here and we're looking at are some metrics that have been gathered by our labor statistics. And pretty much there's 121,000 salaried freelancers self-employed nationwide. And this is basically a 10% growth. And this is taken in 2017. And in 2017, the average was around earning about $53,000 a year. And this was a 77% increase over a 15-year period. So why is this occurring? Well, the demand for audio production is exponentially increased. Obviously, the record industry that paradigm has shifted a little bit. Not as many people are buying records or CDs or printed media, but there's more people producing and distributing audio content. And also we have a wonderful birth of streaming platforms. So with every streaming platform, they're basically distributing new content. So for every video production, movie, television show that is being created, you have to have a audio team counterpart to help support that new programming. So there's also wonderful new devices coming out that we enjoy. And every time you upload to your social media, or if you've bought the most recent electric car, of course, it makes a sound. Well, you have to have a sound designer to create that content, that curate, the nice interactive experience you get when you upload your favorite video to your social media platform. So the interesting thing is the industry has changed so much to such a high demand that they're really wanting individuals to have a degree. So when they come into the workforce, they understand the basic principles or even some advanced principles in audio production engineering. So the majority of the positions are requiring you to have at least an associate's degree. So this is just a breakdown and of the APE program. In 2018, we became a standalone program, concentration. Grab some more people. More people join the party. And let's see let's get another admin to let people in while I talk.
I'm going to take it, Misha. I'll take care of letting people in.
So in 2018, we were under the umbrella of the video production technology program, and so we became a standalone program. Basically, these are the breakdown of our fall 2019 graduates, and 38% found full-time work in the audio industry, 38% found part-time, 31% are self-employed, and 6% were not placed. This is just a glimpse of our curriculum. So I'll get to here is we kind of give the student the sampler plate of audio production engineering in the industry. So basically, it's a 2-year program. So it's difficult to make sure that you get every single thing, but you get enough to kind of make you dangerous. So we focus on the recording arts, so recording music and other ensembles, editing, mixing, mastering, live sound, sound design, broadcast, post-production, house of worship, design, installation, tour production, and of course, being able to manage yourself as a contractor in any of these categories. So if we examine our curriculum here, you can see we have classes that are specializing in just recording arts, specializing in software, specializing in post-production for TV and film, specializing in just in management. So we make sure that you have the right skills to be a marketable individual in the industry. We offer hands-on real-world opportunities. So you're in front of consoles, in front of software, in front of computers, in front of the knobs and the buttons that make really cool sounds. And they're able to really understand the principles, the theoretical principles, but also the application, the cause and effect of what happens when you interact with the equipment. We have access to leading technologies and facilities. Our stuff is really cool. It's brand new, so we keep up to date. And it's a great thing. Yeah, great. The toys are great, but the other incredible thing is the instructors. And all of our instructors were active. We have our own companies, or have had our own companies, or we're seasoned professionals in the industry, and constantly trying to keep our own chops, our own tools, our own professional development up to date. So we want to make sure we can bring you not only our years and years of experience, and hopefully you won't have to go through some of the the pitfalls that we had to endure, and then also we can bring to you new things that we're encountering that's emerging in the industry. So we're career driven. The whole point is hopefully you get a gig. We want you to get a job when you graduate. We also want to give you options. So if you want to continue your education to a 4-year institution, you can. And because of our internships and our capstone projects, we want to have a really nice dovetail of in your last semester, you're positioning yourself to get a job. And the internship helps that. You have to apply for an internship and go through the process of resume building and CV building, invoicing, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always this question of, why do I need to go to school? Why do I need to go to college to do this? Can't I just learn this all on YouTube? Yes and no. The point of college is you have accountability from instructors. You've got access to great resources. You have a chance to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes before you get in the real world, where it's really not as very forgiving. And pretty much you have access to great instructors. And the nice thing is that it's fairly cheap. So we have a lot of support programs with Reconnect and financial aid. And I know Sarah will probably talk about that some more, that our students have. I mean, it's unbelievable. They have access to this education at a pretty reasonable price. So we want you to have options. So as we looked at everything, there's a demand for individuals, and even during these COVID times, our students are finding internships. There's been an extremely quick shift over to live streaming, so a lot of the live sound applications have been retooled for streaming. Churches have retooled, so it's really, really neat how the industry can easily adjust to the changing winds of the times, especially crazy times like this. So there are connections that we have with the industry. We have the resources, and obviously there's the successes of our students, and pretty much our students are going to be the next iteration, and we count on them to just continue our passion and love for sound. And we'd love for you to come to Pellissippi and pretty much make noise. Thank you. I'm going to pass it on to a good colleague, Melissa, unless anybody wants to jump in there. And I'm going to put in my contact information here in our chat. All right. And Mr. Manis, does you want to jump in?
No, great job. I'm glad to be on this team. Misha works very hard. We work very hard to take care of our students, and this is a warm, loving community with which we can grow and fail and then succeed in. So I'm glad to be on the team.
Awesome. Thank you, Misha. Thank you, Jonathan. So I want to talk to you guys for just a few minutes about design, graphic design for web and print. And I see a few names I recognize on here. So hi to those of you who might have been in a course before. I'm really glad to see you. So I'm going to share my screen. And we're just going to look at a few little things. Okay, so if I look sideways, it's because it's over here. So design yourself anywhere you want to be. So some of the fun things that we get to learn in design is how to use software such as Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. And with everything we learn, we always have in mind that we're not only creating items that could be for print, but like Misha talked about, things are digital. So maybe you don't necessarily design for a printed book cover, but there are lots of book covers when you go to Amazon and all the other digital places. So the skills that you learn as a designer are easily transferable in this digital realm. And I'll stop here and just say just a word. So all of the media technology departments you're going to hear from tonight, we all flow together. There are none of us that are not touched in some way, one profession by another. I've worked with sound, I've worked with web, I've worked with photography, and very thankful that I have brothers and sisters in the field, because we support and we go along with each other to get the same goal. So I don't want you to feel like you can listen to one and think that it's exclusive. We encourage and want you to explore any extra courses that you might want to take, electives in audio production or in photography or in web. So we are a family and we work together. So let's flip to the next one here. Okay, so these are all samples of student work. This was a mock-up that was done. They created the book cover and the back cover, and then they mocked it up in Photoshop. These were just some fun Photoshop yourself into a movie poster. So this is just a couple of fun little things that they did together. Let's look at the next one. So our two main components are illustration, and these are either current or former students, and then a lot of image editing. So these are just remarkable illustrations. They're done completely either with the Wacom tablet or just in Illustrator with the regular mouse. So you can do incredible artwork in these programs. Image editing, so just for fun, you know, making composites, but a lot of times you think about the movie posters, book covers that you've seen, there's a lot of these skills that are represented. And then, you know, we take, like I was saying, we work with our friends in the other medias. So photographers, you know, you've got these great product photos. Well, you have to be able to incorporate them contextually. So we're all about that contextual design. Yes, we love the artwork. We celebrate the creativity, but we also want to make sure that we know how to apply it in real world situations so that when you leave our programs, you are actually an asset and ready to enter whichever profession you want to. We've even had students hired out before they can even finish the program, which is exciting, but we wish they would stick around to graduate. Another component that we really encourage in Design for Web and Print is community outreach. So in every DWP course, or the majority of them, we work with service learning, which means usually local nonprofits. This was an instance where they asked for a call to action poster. So it helps you start, and the student took that photograph, they did all the editing, they edited the logo and Illustrator. So this was just a synthesis of a lot of different skills, and it was used to help the community. So the students benefit because they can earn credits towards some scholarships and monies that they receive by providing community service hours, but they're also doing that by learning their skills in design. So this has been really successful. We've worked with organizations like Junior League of Knoxville. This semester, we're working with Make-A-Wish Foundation for East Tennessee. So there's just lots and lots of opportunities to actually get work in your portfolio that is a local organization. And that really speaks to employers that if you are connected to your community and you help that local community, that's really special, and we encourage that. Conveying a message. So a couple of the things that we found that have been really useful for students to learn, one are creating infographics. You can have a lot of information that needs to be conveyed visually. And sometimes the person who needs to convey the message is just really not familiar with how to do that visually. And with graphic design, sometimes illustrations, sometimes a combination of illustration and photography, we can convey a message. Another way we do that is we spend some time in Photoshop learning how to mock up like mobile apps, for example. Now, honestly, we need our computer science friends to do the coding behind those, or maybe our friends in web to do the coding behind the apps, but we make it look really good and we concentrate on making it very user friendly. Let's go to the next one. And talking about user friendly, so user experience is something that's always been important, but UI UX has been, you know, a buzz phrase for a while. So our students really go in and they learn every semester. They come up with a website just to show the work that they've done in that course. And we spend a lot of time talking about why do certain layouts work? Why are they user friendly? Why are they accessible and not accessible? So we really spend some time thinking about who the person is who is actually going to experience our design. It can look really pretty, but if it doesn't make sense, then it's not going to help anyone. And our goal, again, it's to have that synergy between creativity and function. So that's the sweet spot. That's where we're always wanting to go. And one of the things that we do towards the end of your time in our 2-year program is you go through a portfolio class. And these are a couple of students from a couple of semesters ago. So we help you, we work with design professional mentors, And we have some that are across the country. So we do this virtually, and they work with you to get your portfolio to a place to where when you go on the interview, you get the job. And that's what we want to do. So we do, by the time you finish the DWP degree, you have a working, impressive portfolio. And these are just a couple more samples. Students really have a lot of freedom in how they want to go about creating them, as long as they keep in mind the function, as long as the look. So they've had a lot of fun with that. So what kind of career can you get with this degree? You know, that's what's important at the end of the day. I like to say that graphic designers are the artists who eat. I know there are other artists who eat, but during COVID, you know, one of the huge issues has been you can't go where you need to go to do what you need to do. And thankfully, a lot of design work has very easily transferred to remote meetings, remote doing drafts with each other. So this profession particularly and web really lend themselves to, I can work with you and you're across the world. And as long as we can get the English or the communication, maybe not English, with each other, we can work together. So yes, they can be graphic designers, they can be website layout designers, creative art directors, the front end web developers. We love our computer science folks who make stuff work in the back. UX designers, interface is slightly different, those designers, production, multimedia, and there are a lot of jobs that start with the word marketing that are actually design jobs. So a lot of students are finding that out. But there's just a whole lot of things that you can learn. And we cram a lot in those 2 years. You can continue on to a 4-year degree. There, right now, there's a smaller number that will accept all of your credits, but you will be so prepared, technically ahead of others that are just in fine art degrees. It's an exciting time to be in media technology, and it's an exciting time to be in design. I'm going to put all my info into the chat. Please, if you have any questions, you want to know what our curriculum is, you want to know what these jobs pay, what percentage of people are getting jobs. If I don't know, I'll look it up and I'll find out for you. But I'm excited that you guys are here, and we would love to have you at Pellissippi. And next up, I'm going to introduce our photography department. And Ron Goodrich is not only our discipline chair, but he is the coordinator for that program. So Ron, I give it to you.
Thank you. My presentation may look a little bit different. I'm going to kind of just be showing things as I go. So a mixture of some PowerPoint, some looking at me, and some samples if I can. So it may not all flow together well, but it'll help explain what we do. So I'll start with trying to share my screen. And I'm not as fluent with these. So I'm going to stop that for a second and get this to play the slideshow. All right, now show. Okay. So when we're talking about Pellissippi State Photography, like the other programs, we are a commercial based, so that we want to get students ready to work. So you've already met me. I'm associate professor, program coordinator for photography, discipline chair. I'm sure there's going to be a few other titles put in there too. Kurt Estlick, you've also met. He's another professor in photography. We're the full-time people, but there's also plenty of other people that will join with us. So again, a career program. So it's for people that want to work in the field. We're actually looking at whether it's you want to work for private individuals or you want to work for in commercial type things. We're going to teach you the skills that you're going to need in order to do that. So we're going to want to do things like showing you some work of students. So we want to show you some commercial work. So we want compelling images, right? We want images that are going to just kind of grab you. And these can be in a whole bunch of different genres. And a lot of these, again, can apply to different things. So when we're talking about compelling images, things that grab people, get their attention, we also want to teach you about how to use the various technology. So you're talking, and I'll stop share here, technology like, and I'm hoping that you're seeing me. I'm still seeing somebody else. Yeah, I'm stuck on Melissa Dos Santos. Can we? Okay, are you seeing me now? Okay, so technology, digital cameras, computers, things like that. You know, how did we get from this to this? Well, you're going to learn a lot about that too. We're also going to show you how to communicate with your photos. These photos are supposed to do more than just look pretty. We want to actually tell a story. So images like this. And I can barely see that. You know, they can say a little bit more than just, oh, look at this thing that we've got. You know, we want to be able to communicate. We're talking a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So we don't often think about that. We're going to do work that's for a professional client as well. We're not just telling our own vision, we're telling the idea, the vision of somebody else. You know, and there's a couple of different types of clients that we can do, that we work with. There's going to be business clients and personal clients, and I'll talk a little bit about some. So we're also going to go over the business things like model releases, contracts, invoices, copyright, billing, doing your website. These are the skills that you're going to actually need to use. So like I said, we're 100% digital. We don't use film because our clients really don't know how to work with those now. Pretty much everything we're looking at is going to be digital. So no darkroom, no film. It's what people are using today. When we talk about the types of clients, we've got really two kinds. We've got the retail clients where the person that you're actually who's hiring you is just a consumer, a person. It's not a business. These are the types of jobs that most people think about. You know, most people don't have their own business and don't necessarily hire photographers. They don't have their own corporation or magazine. So if you've seen photographers, you've seen, you know, maybe you've been to somebody's wedding, you saw the weddings photographers, you had the school photographers, family. There's even a type of fine art, like if you go to maybe a gallery locally or the Dogwood Arts Festival, where you're selling your own work. The person who's paying you is an actual, just regular private citizen, right? Commercial is a little bit different. That's when the person hiring you or the institution, it's a business. And there's a whole bunch of things that can go along with that. So you've got advertising, you've got product. I think probably some of you have ordered things to a little site called Amazon. You kind of like to see a picture of what you're going to buy before you get it, right? That's a big part of it. Things like public relations for business. You've got concert photos, news, real estate, industrial. I'm just going to list all of these. It's so much that people don't it's ubiquitous. We kind of take them for granted. Most of the photos that you see need to be taken by somebody, and most of them are done professionally. Even a lot of the social media pictures that you see that you think are just phones, no, those are actually big productions. Most of those influencers that you see have professional photographers working for them too. So it's not like these images are just happening. So what do you get when you're working with us? We're going to be working primarily on the Macintosh computers. We use Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom. We have a studio. The studio has all sorts of lighting equipment, studio strobes, you know, the umbrellas, the soft boxes, the fabric backgrounds. So sort of the types of stuff that you're not going to necessarily have in your everyday house. Printers when we can get back in there to make nice big prints. We even let you check out some of the stuff. As you get more familiar with the equipment and you want to work up to bigger and better things, you're going to be able to have your access on high-end cameras. You'll be able to test specialty lenses that you might not be able to check out. Lighting. We do require that our students have their own DSLR camera. And just to show you what that is, that's one of these, the old-fashioned cameras, not a phone, where the lenses pop off and everything. So, but after that, we actually either provide you with a lot of it or we at least give you access to it. Our program is meant to be done in 4 semesters or more. Usually it's about 5 semesters, but you can do it as quickly as 4, or you could stretch it out if you wanted to do part-time. Again, you've already met me and you've met Kurt, but there's also what we have adjunct instructors. These are people that are working in the field. That's their job. They are also advertising photographers, news photographers, corporate photographers, retail photographers, wedding photographers. They actually are the ones that are going to be teaching you. So this gives you an actual insight into what the field's really like. They're bringing the newest technologies, the newest things right to the students. And I think that's about everything. I'm going to post my information into the chat. Again, my name is Ron Goodrich, and I pull them up here. All right, you should be able to see that. That's my email address and the office phone. So after this, I believe we're going to video production, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to be by Katie Lovett. And I'm going to try to unspot myself. All right. You're muted, Katie.
I do it every time, every time. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Lovett. I'm the program coordinator for the Video Production Technologies Department, or VPT, as most people call it. Our department, our industry, we work hard to equip the students for a career in digital storytelling. That's what we focus on. We offer a curriculum that has an introduction to video, television, and a little bit of film production for the local industry. I'm going to hopefully share this. Come on, there we go. There we are. Okay, the VPT hands-on curriculum focuses on the skills required to work in a broadcast studio and on location. Our course content allows the students to learn techniques implemented in the 3 phases of production: pre-production, production, and post-production. Each student has the opportunity to receive basic and even advanced training in script writing, cinematography, lighting, producing, directing, and editing. We have certificates. Now, these certificates enhance the degree. If you do it as a standalone certificate, it's kind of hard to do because there's a lot of prereqs, but we earn a certificate in the areas of producing, script writing, editing, and videography. To do so, you've got to take some extra classes in the area you would like to earn the certificate in. Each one, of course, enhances the degree, as I have said, and allows the student to become more employable. You'd be surprised what kind of conversations are opened up when you earn a certificate. Our VPT instructors, full-time and adjunct, are comprised of experienced professionals. Some of them have owned their own businesses or they've worked for many, many years in the industry. Some of them have even started with local production houses and worked with them from the ground up. But they all have at least a minimum of 12 years experience. Some have 20 and 30 years experience. These instructors have firsthand insight into the current state of the industry and teach students the professional practices and workflows required to become employed in the industry. VPT students have access to the state-of-the-art professional production equipment. There's a checkout system in place that allows the students to obtain the needed equipment for 48 hours to complete their projects. From 4K cameras and microphones to jib arms and dollies, students are taught the proper techniques for using the equipment to achieve the desired look and style for their productions. Our high definition television studio and control room, which by the way was, and I love saying this, the first high def TV studio in the state of Tennessee to go online. We beat Nashville, Memphis, and Chattanooga. It offers the students the ability to learn professional multi-camera TV production techniques. We have high def cameras, graphic generators, and a Blackmagic switcher, and it provides the students the opportunity to use the same equipment that TV networks use. We have 5 private edit suites when we get back to school for video cutting, as well as 2 classroom labs. All classrooms are equipped with up-to-date Mac computers loaded with high-end production software applications, which includes or can include Avid Media Composer, Adobe Creative Cloud, and script writing software, and a whole lot more. An open lab exists for students to work on projects outside of class. All VPT students are required to complete an internship before they graduate. They treat an internship like getting a job, like being hired for a job. They have to build a resume and go on an interview with the company. And if it works, they are hired in to work 90 to 120 hours with that company, and they get to run camera or edit or sometimes get coffee, but they get to work alongside all the professionals who are doing the work and learn from them. The VPT students are offered a variety of professional opportunities for employment. They can go to work at local news stations or the production houses. We have over 60 students, or graduates, I should say. They're employed at Jupiter. They go to work at North South, Pop Fizz, Jury Television, Even River Media. These companies produce content for a lot of the major cable networks. Typical job opportunities offered to VPT grads include videographer, assistant editor, camera op, lighting tech, audiovisual technician, production assistant, and of course, a whole lot more. Some of them I have listed here. Some grads have started their own business. Most stay and work in the local industry, but others have moved to production hubs like New York, LA, and Atlanta. Pre-COVID, over 75% of our grads were presently working in the industry. Right now, we don't know because there's a lot of this that has shut down, but from what I can gather, it's all starting to open back up. I will put my contact information up in the chat room, just like everybody else. Under the VPT umbrella, we have an animation curriculum Kent McQuilkin is overseeing that. So I'm going to pass it on to Kent to talk about the animation.
Thank you, Katie. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm hungry after seeing the chicken parmesan on in Ron's pictures. So yeah, part of the VPT program is animation. And like everybody said, we have great adjuncts that work with us in all these departments. And it's really one of our great strengths that you're not only learning the disciplines and tricks and software in those industries, but you're actually being taught by people in the industry. And I think that's always been a great strength of ours. So in animation, we start by talking about the principles of animation. So like Misha and others have said, we have all these amazing toys, but if you don't understand the fundamentals of design or animation or photography or film or audio, then those toys aren't going to do you much good. You may make some flashy things, but in the end, you're not able to control your visuals and control your message. And so we start out by teaching the principles of animation, and those roll through regardless of which discipline of animation you go into. So the three you kind of think about are stop motion, and they're left to right on the screen: stop motion, 2D, now digital animation, and then your kind of 3D CGI animation. And we focus primarily on 2D and 3D animation, but we do have a lot of students who are very interested in stop motion. And again, the principles you apply go straight into either any of these different mediums. And so locally, we see a big mix between 2D digital animation and 3D animation. There are occasionally opportunities in stop motion professionally, but predominantly they're going to be 2D and 3D animation. So where is animation used? It's used in broadcast and film, as Katie alluded to. Broadcast is huge around here. We have a huge broadcast market, and we have great relationships with those production houses as well as Discovery. You also have gaming, and gaming also spreads into kind of the gamification of training. We're seeing training, virtual environments, VR, augmented reality, all these things are becoming more and more prevalent. And it was headed that way anyway, but pre-pandemic. But with the pandemic, it's become even more of a need, this ability to train remotely and to put people in immersive situations to help, whether it's safety training or process training or medical training. This idea of immersive training is really growing in an exciting part of animation. Theater and live venues, which we certainly hope to get back very soon. Websites and e-learning, so again, distance, and Melissa alluded to that as well, graphics and animation. These things are really all the disciplines as far as recorded media are so important now in order to share messages and teach and all these, getting your word out to people that you can't physically be in close contact with. And that rolls into marketing as well. So we start off in 2D with what you'll find most predominantly as far as software. So again, principles are key. They're the most important thing, but then getting into the actual tools that are used in the industry. So the Adobe software is what you're going to run into in most motion graphics houses and animation houses, as well as infographic companies who are making animation. So on the bitmap side, Photoshop; on the vector side, Illustrator; and then taking those things into After Effects to create animation and motion. And then in some cases, rolling that into Premiere, whether it's going to be a part of a larger edit, or maybe you're doing some audio editing and then export options. Then we move up into some of the more higher level 2D animation software like Storyboard Pro and Harmony. So any episodic animation you see or film animation that you see that's 2D, that's made in North America, is made in either Storyboard Pro or Harmony. Storyboard Pro is for storyboarding, and it's also the leader in live action storyboarding as well. On the 3D side, we have Cinema 4D is our predominant software, and that's because it's the leader in the broadcast market. And again, we have a really strong broadcast market here And so whether you're watching Discovery or HGTV or ESPN or Monday Night Football, TNT basketball, any news program that has kind of the big 3D intros, those are all done in Cinema 4D, as well, or a lot of film animation. We have Houdini, which is the leader in special effects. So if you're thinking about explosions or liquid simulation, and these are not only for entertainment, which is obvious one export for that, but also in simulation. So for training and other purposes, you'll probably see a whole lot of this in Kong versus Godzilla coming up soon. And speaking of Godzilla and King Kong, one thing they both have in common is they're both built in ZBrush, which is another 3D program we have. It's a sculpting program. So any character, creature that you see in video games, on television, or in film, they're all sculpted in ZBrush and then taken into your animation software of choice. And we're also getting into Autodesk Maya and leading into some virtual reality and gaming environments, again, kind of adapting to this adjustment in the industry. And so I'll just skim through a little bit of this, but I'm going to actually provide you with a link to this and the password. But you can just see a little bit of our student work here, different styles, different students learn a wide breadth of animation styles and are able to kind of put their own stamp in their designs. Our students take design courses, so along with the animation that they learn as far as using Photoshop or Illustrator or After Effects, they're also taking design courses so they understand those design principles coming in. And all those things, like Melissa said about kind of this whole family unit that we have, in animation, you have to be aware of every part of production. You have to have an eye for photography and composition. You have to understand how the lens works, because you're going to be emulating that inside your animation. There's a lot of growth opportunities in animation, not only for kind of the standard of what we've had as far as broadcast, but we're seeing a lot of interest from companies that are providing training and education. And it's just a great time exciting time to be in animation. So if you're interested, I'll be hanging around the chat and I'll put my information there as well. And I'll also put a link to this demo reel so you can see it along with the password. And I'm going to pass it along to the magnificent Martha Merrill.
Thank you, Kent. I appreciate that. From the magnificent Kent McQuilkin. Thank you. Okay, I am going to talk about the Web Technology Program, which is a program where we learn about web design and front-end web development. So let me get in here and share my screen. If I can get my mouse to work properly here. Here we go. And let's go here. Okay. Whoops, went too far. Let's back up here. Okay, just a real quick overview of some important features of the web program. And I think everybody else has pretty much touched on some of the things that I wanted to talk about, and that is how we all work together, and all of the wonderful works that you've seen here from the music, the photography, the animation, the designs, all of the things that we are working on here as professionals in media technologies. You'll notice that all of it winds up on the web. And so in web technology, we're preparing you to take all of those wonderful products and make sure that they are presented on the web in the ways that they need to be presented. So we also prepare you to go to work in 2 years. That's what we all do here in Career Tech. We provide hands-on experience in creating websites. You'll notice that, that in all of the courses that we provide, You don't mess around, sitting around talking a lot about theory and whatever. Once you get into our classes, you have your hands on our equipment. In web, you are creating websites and coding almost immediately, probably from day one. I know in my classes you are. The courses in web are offered mostly online. I guess that makes sense since it is web technology. And that is very attractive to young folks who are digital natives, also to folks who have jobs and children. And so those online courses are really handy. In this day and age of COVID and virtual learning, a lot of people are not as excited about that as some folks used to be, but we do offer most of our courses online. Even after COVID is over, we will still continue to offer them mostly online because most of our students take to that environment. We also have an internship that provides a chance to work with seasoned web professionals, and many of our students get jobs from working with providing an internship for our students. And so many of them go to work for the people that they have their internships with. Again, as you've heard from all these other good folks, our professors have worked in the industry. We know what you need to learn. Our adjunct professors or part-time professors also are working in the field currently and know what's needed. And we also have an advisory committee, as we all do, of community web professionals that meet with us, that tell us what's going on in the community, what's current, what we need to know to be able to teach our students. We have a path. You can either get your degree, 2-year career tech degree, or we offer 3 different certificates in web. We have a web design tools certificates where you learn different software. You can specialize in e-commerce. Of course, a lot of people have storefronts that they want you to design for them to sell their products. And then, of course, accessible web design and compliance is very important, as federal standards require that websites meet accessible federal requirements. Okay, and this is our web curriculum. I know it's hard to look over this real quickly, but you'll see that like all of our programs, the web curriculum has some electives built in so that you can not only learn about web, but you could branch out and take, if you're interested in APE or photography, animation, DWP, you could go ahead and sign up for elective. Work that into your web program and kind of pull together some courses that would complement what it is that you're most interested in. Salaries and job outlook. Most folks want to know about that. I think we've mentioned that Knoxville's the 3rd largest producer of media, maybe 4th now. I'm not sure. I haven't heard lately, but 3rd largest producer of media in the United States, which really gives us ample opportunities to work in your field here if you want to stay locally. The average webmaster salary in Knoxville is $71,000, ranges between 61 and 82, and there's the URL if you want to look at that. Of course, salary ranges depends on your education, your certifications, what skills you have, and how long you've been in your career. But the employment of web developers is projected to grow 13% up to 2028. So the job outlook and salary are very good for web developers in this area. Is the web program right for you? If you really do like the look and the feel of a well-designed website, Melissa touched on the user experience of a website, how it feels when you go to it, if it flows, if it makes sense to you, if you look at it and you go, like I do sometimes, these websites make me crazy. If you really think you can improve it, if you like the look and feel of it, if you think it would be something that you would really like to work on, if you like technology, if you want a career where you'll never be bored because web technology changes twice while you're at lunch, if it's something that's exciting to you to learn about technology, then web might be the right career for you. And then I've included some examples of our web students' websites. I just think that our students are so talented. I just have to show some of them off. And I'm a cat person. I had to put this one in. I'm sorry. Please just humor me here. This is one that one of our students developed for our Bagwell Center. You may recognize it. Whatever. But anyway, this is our thank you for interest in web technology. Come and join us. We really do enjoy what we do. It is a career that you can certainly take with you, have laptop, will travel, and it is fun. We love technology, and we would love for you to come and explore with us the field of web technology. And so I will put my information in chat, and I will turn this over to Sarah Davis, who is from our enrollment services, and she's going to speak to us about admission and enrollment. So I'll turn that over to Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you. Okay, so my name is Sarah Davis. I am the lead enrollment coordinator for Pellissippi State. And I just want to really quickly, I hope you guys are all interested in coming to Pellissippi after hearing from these great programs. I'm excited and ready to study all of them. The first step in the enrollment process is to simply apply. So jump on our website, which is pstcc.edu. In the middle of the website, you'll see a big box that says begin your path, apply now. Our application is free. It's super short, takes about 5 minutes to complete. And then about 48 hours later, you'll receive a welcome email from us. And that welcome email is going to give you instructions on how to set up your student portal called My Pellissippi. And really that portal is how we're going to be communicating with you moving forward, and how you're going to be getting information from us. You'll also be getting a Pellissippi State email. And once your admissions requirements are complete, which is submitting your official high school transcripts and ACT or SAT scores if you have them. If not, you can take a test that we offer called the AccuPlacer test, which is a free test that we offer that will help place you into English and math classes. The next step in the enrollment process, after that admissions file is complete, you will receive your official acceptance letter from us. And the next step is financial aid. So completing the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. That application is available now for either the summer or for fall of 2021. Our application is also available now for summer or fall of 2021. And we'd love to have you. So I'm going to put in the chat box our email, our phone number, and my personal contact information. And just remember, with the Tennessee Promise and the Tennessee Reconnect scholarships, you can attend Pellissippi free of tuition and fees. Those are two major scholarships that we offer at Pellissippi. So we'd love to have you. And I think we're going to open it up. Don't forget there's a chat box at the top, at the bottom of your screen. And if you have any questions, that's where everybody's been posting their information. But if you have any questions, please feel free to post those in that chat box. Thank you.
So yes, as Sarah said, the chat box is available. So one more time, please let me draw your attention to that chat box, because as we have heard, each faculty member who has spoken has provided you contact information there. We also recognize that we have bumped up against the hour and recognize that some of you may have other obligations for the evening, but we would invite those of you who do have questions to stay with us. These folks will be happy to hang around. Before we go, I'd like to actually introduce a couple of other people who are with us that if you join us at Pellissippi State, you're sure to meet. And that is Ramonda Swafford. Eileen, Ramonda, if you can, she is the department assistant for all of engineering and media technologies and a great resource for us in the department as well as you, should you have questions. And then Paul Wise is our tech geek. He is the one that keeps all of our equipment running and makes sure that we have the latest technology, a great resource for us in media technologies. And so we thank those folks for being here as well. But again, if you have questions, you are certainly welcome to put them in the chat box, but we also invite you to ask questions now. If you need to go, we recognize that. And again, thank you for being here. But if you have questions, please hang around. We'll hang around as long as you do answering your questions. So have a good evening and thanks for attending tonight.
My class, meet me at the normal place. See you there.
Thank you. That was great. I enjoyed that.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and my class, if you want to stay and ask some questions, please do. I'm just going to switch over to the other conference.
Thanks, Paul's class, for joining us. So Sarah, who is Pellissippi State Orientation? I probably should have introduced whoever is behind that screen.
Hey, this is Becky Milam, and I apologize. I'm on a different kind of device, and I couldn't figure out how to change my name, and it defaulted to the Pellissippi State Orientation, so that's kind of tacky. I'm so sorry.
No, had I known who it was, I most certainly would have introduced you, but I would have also told students to expect the opportunity to actually experience an orientation. So that's okay. That is
well,
okay.
You chat with me later because I am really desperately looking for ways to promote you all in our online environment, and our online orientation for content will probably start in April. I loved what you've done tonight. Can I use it there? Is there something else you want me to use? I'm desperate to get the word out about majors as soon as possible, and most of our orientation was all online right now. So,
and we've talked about Becky, and I know we've got a couple of
students welcome. Oh my goodness, we just want to get the word out, and this has been so good for all of us.
But we have been, we've been talking in this group about some real short recorded informational kinds of things that we can literally give to your folks, to you, to just include, whether it's, whether it gets included on each of our web pages as well. I mean, we don't know. So we are investigating that amongst all the other things relative to being quarantined at home.
Hey, get in touch. Got some ideas, got some new possibilities, got somebody that can help with all kinds of stuff. So
okay, so Becky, this group meets every Friday at 10:30. So we would invite you. You let me know when a good Friday at 10:30 is, and we would love to invite you to a meeting, and we'll have you talk to us.
And what I will say this, I have so many of your awesome students. I bet a number of you know Gus Tomazelli. Anybody? He's graduating in May, and he's been a new student orientation leader for a long time, and we're going to miss him dreadfully. He's tearing up because he's telling us his plane's going to leave May 13th. So he has been getting the word out about everything for a long time. What am I going to do without him? Help me.
We'll give you another one.
Give us some more. Yeah.
We'll find you another. We'll find
you. All righty. Find me some folks. Okay, I'll be quiet and look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, so I don't know if Ari is here to ask questions or perhaps has left the room. So folks, thank you. Thank you. I know
This
it's
was amazing.
Yeah, it's been recorded, and yes, it was amazing.
It
So
was
thank
amazing.